When a woman truly wants to marry a man, one of the deepest transformations you'll notice is how emotionally open she becomes with him. This is not something women give freely, casually, or without thought. Emotional vulnerability is one of the most intimate forms of connection she can offer, and it only appears when she feels a powerful blend of safety, trust, and long-term intention. For many women, opening up emotionally means allowing someone to see the parts of themselves they usually protect, their fears, insecurities, past mistakes, childhood wounds, and the dreams they hold quietly in their hearts. She doesn't just share the pretty details, she shares the real ones. And she does this not because she's weak, but because she feels she has found a man who won't judge her, abandon her, or weaponize her honesty against her. A woman who sees marriage potential begins to communicate differently. Her conversations go deeper than surface-level banter. She talks about what shaped her, what hurt her, what taught her to be strong, and what she hopes for her future. She lets you into her emotional world because she wants you to understand her on a level no one else has. Before, she believes that a husband is not just a partner but a witness to her entire story, and she wants you to be that person. She will trust you with details she never shares with casual partners, because emotional closeness is her way of building a foundation for a lifelong bond. This openness also shows up in how she expresses her feelings for you. Instead of holding back, instead of hiding her emotions, she becomes clear and genuine about how much she cares. She compliments you more sincerely. She expresses appreciation more consistently. She shows affection more freely. She doesn't fear appearing too emotional because she sees you as someone who values her honesty. She no longer calculates what she says or how she acts to protect herself from heartbreak. Instead, she leans into the relationship fully, trusting that her vulnerability will be met with respect and loyalty. Being emotionally open also means she begins to rely on you, not in a dependent way, but in a deeply trusting way. She shares her stress, her doubts, and her frustrations because she believes you can hold space for her. She wants to be understood, not just heard. She wants you to know how she feels, even when the feelings are complex or difficult to articulate. This level of emotional transparency is not a test. It's a sign that she feels safe enough to be her truest self with you. And perhaps the most powerful part of this shift is that she starts to show you the woman she is beneath all the walls life taught her to build. She becomes softer, more expressive, more honest because she feels she's finally with a man who values the real her. Emotional openness is her way of saying, I trust you with my heart. It is her way of building a bond that goes beyond physical attraction or temporary connection. It is one of the clearest signs she sees you not just as a partner for today, but as someone she wants to choose for the rest of her life. When a woman truly sees a man as the person she wants to marry, one of the clearest signs is how naturally she begins to include him in her long-term plans. This isn't forced, it isn't strategic, and it isn't done to pressure him. It happens effortlessly because, in her mind and heart, the future doesn't feel complete without him in it. She starts saying we instead of I, not because she's trying to lock him down, but because she genuinely sees both of their lives moving in the same direction. Her decisions, dreams, and goals slowly start to intertwine with his, and that shift reveals a deep level of emotional commitment. At this stage, the man becomes more than someone she loves. He becomes someone she envisions building with. She talks about future places to live, not as fantasies, but as possibilities. She discusses travel, career moves, life goals, and timelines with a sense of shared destiny. She may ask how he feels about settling down, starting a family, or moving to a new city because she wants to ensure their life paths align. These conversations aren't meant to pressure him. They're meant to understand whether they're growing in the same direction. Women don't do this with men they're unsure about. They only open these conversations when they believe they've found someone worth planning a lifetime with. She also becomes more thoughtful about her choices because she considers how those choices may affect the relationship. When opportunities arise, new jobs, lifestyle changes, commitments, she weighs them in a new way. She doesn't just ask, "Is this good for me?" She begins asking, "Is this good for us?" That shift is powerful. It means she sees him as a life partner whose presence and dreams matter to her as much as her own. She wants a future where both people thrive, not one where she leaves him behind or grows separately. Including him in her long-term plans also means she communicates more about expectations and values. She starts talking openly about what she wants in a marriage, what kind of life she hopes to build, and what stability looks like to her. Not because she's demanding anything, but because she wants clarity. She wants alignment. She wants to build a future with intention rather than guesswork. And if she's sharing these details with him, it's because she believes he's capable of joining her in that vision. She might also show interest in his long-term goals, his career ambitions, his dreams, his financial plans, his personal growth. She asks these questions to understand whether their futures can merge smoothly. If she sees him as her future husband, she wants to support the life he's trying to build. She wants to plan around it, contribute to it, and grow with him, not separately from him. Most importantly, including him in her long-term plans shows that she isn't thinking short-term. She isn't treating the relationship as temporary or experimental. She's thinking in decades, not months. When a woman naturally sees a man in her future, it means she feels safe, aligned, and secure with him. It means she can imagine waking up next to him for the rest of her life, and that vision feels right. One of the biggest signs a woman truly sees a man as her future husband is when she begins to bring him into her inner circle. Women do not introduce every man they date to their closest friends or family. These people are extensions of her heart, her support system, her protectors, her truth tellers. She knows their opinions carry weight, and she knows they can see things in men that she sometimes cannot. So when she willingly brings a man into that circle, it means she is serious. It means she believes he is worthy of meeting the people she trusts most. It is her way of saying, without words, "I want you to be part of my world, not just my relationship." This introduction doesn't happen casually. She thinks about timing, comfort, and the emotional stage of the relationship. She wants the people she loves to see the man she believes in, the man she brags about, the man she feels safe with. She wants them to witness how he treats her, how he speaks, how he carries himself. Not because she's unsure, but because she's proud. She especially wants her closest friends, the ones who have seen her through heartbreaks, frustrations, and disappointments. To see the difference in this man, when a woman is serious, she wants her friends to recognize why she feels this relationship is different from the rest. She also introduces him to her family in a more meaningful way. This can be a big step, especially if she is protective of her personal life. Family introductions signify that she is no longer thinking on a short-term level. She wants her family to know the man who might one day become her husband. She pays attention to how well he connects with them, how he communicates, and whether he respects the people who shaped her. And just as importantly, she pays attention to how he feels around them because she wants harmony. She wants to build a future where the people who matter to her can coexist peacefully with the man she loves. This integration into her inner circle also means she becomes more open about her past relationships, her experiences, and her values. Not just with him, but in front of her friends and family. She wants him to understand the environment that shaped her. She wants him to see where she comes from, what she believes, and who she relies on. She wants transparency, not mystery. In her mind, you don't hide someone you see as a long-term partner. You bring them into your life slowly and intentionally. When she includes him in gatherings, celebrations, important moments, or even casual hangouts, she is weaving him into the fabric of her life. She is giving him space to build his own connections within her circle. She is building bridges instead of walls. And more importantly, she is signaling that she wants him to stay, not just with her, but with the people who matter to her. When a woman brings a man into her closest circle, she is opening a door to her future. She's not just introducing him, she's welcoming him. It is one of the strongest signs that she sees him not just as a boyfriend, but as the man she hopes to one day call her husband. A woman who truly sees a man as her future husband naturally begins to invest in his growth, stability, and personal development. This isn't about trying to control him or change him into someone he's not. It's about seeing the potential within him and wanting to help him rise into the best version of himself. She believes in his future even when he doubts it. She becomes a source of motivation, encouragement, and emotional fuel. When a woman genuinely loves a man with long-term intention, she doesn't sit passively on the sidelines. She leans in, supports, and contributes to his evolution. This investment appears in small, everyday moments. She reminds him to take care of his health not to nag him, but because she wants him to live long and strong. She encourages him when he feels lost. She pushes him gently when he becomes complacent. She celebrates his progress, no matter how small, because she knows growth is a journey. She sees the man he can be, the man he's becoming, and the man he will be. And she wants to be part of that process, not just an observer. Supporting his growth also means helping him stay focused on his goals. She listens when he talks about his dreams, his career, and his ambitions. She pays attention to what drives him. She asks questions not to interrogate, but to understand the path he wants to walk. If he shares a goal, she remembers it. If he expresses doubt, she counters it with encouragement. If he struggles, she finds ways to help him regain direction. She becomes a partner in his vision, aligning herself with his purpose because she sees that purpose as part of their future. This kind of support also shows up in emotional growth. She helps him become more self-aware, more grounded, more emotionally stable, not by criticizing him, but by offering new perspectives, patience, and understanding. She teaches him how to communicate better, how to handle challenges with maturity, and how to navigate conflicts without destroying the relationship. She becomes a mirror reflecting both his strengths and the areas he can improve, always with love rather than judgment. A woman who wants to marry a man doesn't tear him down. She elevates him. She may even make sacrifices for his growth, adjusting her schedule, offering her resources, or being flexible when he needs to focus on building his life. She understands that real partnership sometimes requires supporting each other during seasons of hustle, stress, or uncertainty. She stands by him because she believes success is sweeter when shared. Her presence is steady, her belief unwavering, her support consistent. Most importantly, she invests in his growth because she knows that a strong man builds a strong future. She wants to build a life with someone who stands tall, not just for himself, but for both of them. When a woman is committed to your growth, it means she envisions a future where both of you rise together. She's not looking for a perfect man. She's looking for a man who is willing to evolve. And when she chooses to invest in that evolution, it's one of the clearest signs she sees you as the partner she wants to build forever with. When a woman truly sees a man as the person she wants to marry, she becomes intentional about protecting the relationship. This protection isn't loud, dramatic, or confrontational. It's quiet, consistent, and rooted in loyalty. She begins to treat the relationship as something precious, something worth preserving, something that deserves effort and boundaries. She no longer thinks like someone casually dating. She thinks like someone building a future. Her actions reflect responsibility, commitment, and maturity because she values what the two of them share. One of the ways she protects the relationship is by being loyal in both words and actions. She doesn't entertain attention from other men. She doesn't entertain situations that create confusion, and she doesn't allow emotional connections with others that could threaten the bond she has. She makes her relationship status clear in how she speaks, behaves, and interacts. She honors her partner even when he's not around. Loyalty becomes her default expression of love, and she doesn't have to be reminded. It comes naturally because she values the relationship's integrity. She also protects the relationship by setting boundaries with people around her. This can include friends who gossip, family members who are overly intrusive, or exes who try to stay too close. Even with coworkers or acquaintances whose energy feels disrespectful, she knows where to draw the line. She does this not out of fear or jealousy, but because she understands that a strong relationship requires emotional and social clarity. She knows the kind of outside influences that can weaken a bond, and she doesn't allow them to take root. She respects the relationship enough to safeguard it from unnecessary complications. Protecting the relationship also means she becomes mindful of how disagreements are handled. Instead of escalating arguments, she tries to de-escalate. Instead of fighting to win, she fights to understand. She doesn't let temporary anger create permanent damage. She doesn't let pride ruin communication. She focuses on resolution, not destruction. This shift shows that she values the long-term emotional health of the relationship more than momentary ego. She wants peace, stability, and harmony, not constant conflict. She also becomes selective about who she confides in when problems arise. Instead of broadcasting relationship issues to friends or social media, she keeps private matters private. She speaks to people who offer wisdom, not drama. She avoids anyone who encourages negativity or division. Her goal is not to embarrass her partner or seek attention, but to preserve the respect within the relationship. Protecting your partner's dignity becomes important to her because she knows that trust is fragile, and once broken, it's hard to rebuild. Another powerful way she protects the relationship is by being consistent. She doesn't disappear when things get hard. She doesn't give up when challenges arise. She stays present, communicative, and emotionally available. She shows up for the relationship even on days when the world weighs her down. Consistency is her way of saying, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. At the deepest level, she protects the relationship because she sees it as her future. She sees him as her partner in life, not just in the moment. She knows that long-term love requires care, boundaries, and intention. And when she protects the relationship with this level of devotion, it's a clear sign she sees the man not just as someone she loves, but as the man she wants to marry. When a woman truly wants to marry a man, one of the most profound signs is that she chooses him every single day through her actions, her effort, and her presence. Love in her mind stops being a feeling and becomes a commitment. She doesn't choose him only when things are easy, romantic, or exciting. She chooses him when life is stressful, when misunderstandings happen, and when challenges show up. This daily choice becomes the foundation of how she shows love. It means she sees him not as someone temporary, but as someone permanent, someone she wants to build a life with, someone worth fighting for and growing with. Choosing him daily is reflected in the small things she does that often go unnoticed. She checks in on him not out of obligation, but from genuine care. She learns the details of his routines, his habits, his preferences. She pays attention to the things that make him smile and the things that weigh on him. She remembers what matters to him, whether it's his passions, his fears, or his goals. Her attention is consistent because she is invested emotionally. She doesn't drift away when life gets busy. Instead, she leans closer. This presence is her way of saying, "You matter to me every day, not just on the good days." Choosing him also means she makes space for him in her life. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. She prioritizes time together, even when her schedule is packed. She balances her responsibilities without letting the relationship fade into the background. She values connection, communication, and intimacy because she understands that long-term love is built through consistent effort. She doesn't see him as an option on her list. She sees him as her partner, her person, and her emotional home. Another way she chooses him daily is through loyalty and devotion. She remains emotionally committed even when external temptations or distractions arise. She guards the relationship because she sees its worth. She doesn't compare him to others, and she doesn't hold him to unrealistic standards. She chooses him fully. Not an idealized version, not a fantasy, but the real man in front of her. His imperfections don't push her away. Instead, they make her more committed because she sees a future where both of them grow and improve together. She also shows this daily choice through patience and forgiveness. She understands that no relationship is perfect and no person is flawless. When disagreements happen, she doesn't give up or punish him with silence or distance. She communicates, works through issues, and chooses the relationship over ego. She values the long-term bond more than the short-term moment of tension. This emotional maturity comes from seeing him not as a passing chapter, but as a lifelong partner. Most importantly, choosing him daily means she consistently aligns her words with her actions. She doesn't promise love, she lives it. She doesn't talk about commitment, she shows it. She doesn't say she cares. She proves it in how she treats him, protects the relationship, and prioritizes their shared future. A woman who makes this level of consistent effort is showing one of the strongest signs of all. She sees him as the man she wants to walk through life with. She chooses him not once, not occasionally, but every day. Because in her heart, he is already her forever.